What we know as chicken pot pie is actually a derivative of one of the oldest culinary traditions known to humanity. It dates back to possibly the Neolithic age, where archaeologists have found evidence of humans lining earthenware vessels with pastry or dough and cooking a savory filling inside. It remained popular throughout the Roman times, waned a little bit, and then regained popularity in Europe and England in the 16th and 17th centuries. No surprise then, it made its way to the New World, where pot pies, particularly chicken, remain popular to this day. Our take on it is perhaps a bit heretical, but we're actually going to skip the dough on the bottom and the sides, which was of course traditional up until now, and instead focus on making a delightfully fluffy, buttery, crispy golden brown pastry layer for the top. We'll have a rich, creamy chicken packed filling with vegetables as well, but no cream. Is this a healthy dish? I don't think we can go that far, but it is comforting and delicious. Begin by adding 2½ cups of all-purpose flour to a large bowl, followed by a pinch of salt, about a teaspoon. To this, we're going to add 2 cups of butter. If you freeze it for an hour or two ahead of time, you can grate it on a box grater. Alternatively, just cut it up into little tiny pieces and use a fork to cut it in till it's about the size of small peas. If you grate it though, you're good to go. Add in about 6 to 8 tablespoons of water and work the dough until it just comes together. I like to keep a little ice water on the side just in case I need to add a little more to make it come together. But once it's no longer sticky or tacky to the touch, go ahead and tuck it into one side of the bowl and cover it with some plastic wrap. Put it back into the fridge for at least an hour. Overnight is fine. Next up, more butter. I'm going to add about 3 or 4 tablespoons to a large skillet, to which we're also going to add 1 medium diced onion. Saute that for 4 to 5 minutes over medium heat until it starts to go translucent, and then add in 2 minced cloves of garlic, along with salt and pepper to taste, and about a ½ teaspoon of thyme, dried thyme. To this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, stir that well, and cook out for 1 to 2 minutes until the flour is no longer raw. We're making a good old roux here, so we're going to add in 1 cup of whole milk. Make sure you scrape up all that flour off the sides and the bottom so we get its maximum thickening potential, also so it doesn't burn. And we're going to add in about 1 cup of chicken stock. Go ahead and stir all of that to combine, bring it up over medium heat, and it will thicken up for you. For our chicken, yeah, let someone else cook that. These rotisserie chickens from the grocery store are just as good as anything you can make at home, at least if you're going to shred it and put it into a pie, that is. So we don't really want the skin, just tear off the breast meat, and I like to get a little of the dark meat too. Those thighs have a different, more chickeny flavor, and I think it really lends a deeper flavor to the pie itself. But of course, if you only like white or dark meat, just use one or the other. Put that into your simmering liquid. You're going to go ahead and season this again to taste once you get your chicken in there, because we've got a lot of liquid that we have not seasoned. We're going to add in 1 cup of vegetables. Again, you want to make sure you check this for salt and pepper before we get ready to put the pie crust over top, because you really can't season it after it's cooked. Alright, I should have mentioned this dough makes enough for a bottom and top crust or 2 pies if, you're into that sort of thing. So I'm going to cut mine in half, flour my work surface, kind of form the dough into a ball or oval, pat it down, and then just roll it out. We haven't created a lot of gluten in this dough, so it shouldn't be very resistant at all. There's no yeast in there, it's just butter and flour and water. But if it does get a little sticky on the board, just put down a little extra flour, Roll it out until it's about an inch or two larger than your pie pan, which most of them are 9 to 10 inches. So add your filling into your pie pan. Make sure it doesn't come up over the top of the edge, otherwise this is just going to bubble over and make a huge mess. So if you have to leave a little behind for a snack, that's all right. Stir to make sure all of your ingredients are homogeneous and layer on your top layer of dough. Now, you can get fancy with this and crimp it with your fingers, but I just push it down around the edges. Make sure there's a good firm seal, and then cut off any excess crust around the outside of the pie plate. Again, get fancy with it if you want, but Better Homes and Gardens wasn't coming to my house this day, so I just kept it rustic. A few slits, let steam escape, into a 425-degree oven for 25 to 35 minutes, or until it is golden brown and delicious. You can also brush it with a little butter if you want to add extra golden brown color. Top it with some chives. Let it rest for at least 15 minutes. And then let me let y'all hear how flaky this is. Look at all those layers, flaky pastry crust. Really is a sight to behold and to eat. It's extraordinarily creamy without having any actual cream in there. The chicken is still moist and tender because we use that rotisserie bird. Get the nice flavor from the dark meat and the light meat. Vegetables are, of course, never a bad thing to put into a pie, and they're not bad for you either. So, other than that decadent crust, I guess you could call this a healthy riff on chicken pot pie. I could definitely call it a delicious one.